Let's talk about our playtesting for the new format. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more on us. So we kind of dipped our feet a little bit into the new Vanguard format for premium, but a lot of our attention has kind of been in standard right now because, you know, we kind of got to get ready for, you know, upcoming Bushiroad, which kind of, I mean, does put a little bit of a damper on premium on this channel. You're going to see a decent amount of standard kind of going forward. I know some of you are going to be like, really? Don't worry. There will be a balance. All right, it's just going to look like there's going to be a lot of standard up front, but there will be premium coming in between or around that. So the thing we have had the chance to test so far was we wanted to test Astral Susano's list from BCS. That was, and we wanted to incorporate Dreaming Dragon into the deck because I mean, like, it's a one slot change, and Dreaming Dragon and Regalia was typically one of the better tools that we had seen in the past that a lot of decks were actually, you know, choosing to actually play, which worked out really, really great in hindsight. You know, you want to be able to use Dreaming Dragon kind of as like that reset tool, and it's something that actually I personally think helps the deck out a lot for you to kind of be able to, you know, regenerate those resources. Yeah, it can be, you know, a sacky little stand trigger, but like, you kind of got to think about it like this. The format moves in a direction that, you know, sometimes the games do go a while. I know somebody's going to be like, well, that's not necessarily the case. I mean, yes and no. A lot of scenarios that we've seen, you know, games can go in terribly long directions, and you do kind of have to make some concessions for that. So that's where the Dreaming Dragon idea came in. And also, every previous list did choose to actually play it, so it wasn't necessarily like an old thing. It was, you know, we just saw Dreaming Dragon came back. We're like, oh yeah, this used to go in this, so let's dust it off and actually, you know, give it a shot again. And honestly, I think it did work out very nicely from the results we've seen so far. It's just kind of, we got to get reused kind of playing Regalia because it's been a hot second since we've played it. We do know that the deck functionally still kind of works the same way that it previously has, you know, where you're basically gaining the infinite push power that the deck actually, you know, formerly had. And honestly, it does kind of get a little bit ridiculous when you're watching this deck just kind of steamroll advantage. And I'm telling you, sometimes on those big kill turns where they're like, oh yeah, here comes the Minerva punching you in the face, for a lot, it does get a little bit scary to kind of think about. So I'm liking that. Seems pretty decent. We have Chaos Breaker together, but we've not tested a variant of it just yet. It's still on my things to do list. I wanted to give it some time, kind of see what Chaos Breaker was going to kind of build up and lead into the format, just to kind of, you know, see if it was going to be a right call, just to kind of be able to, you know, see what we could do with it. But for now, we have a build, but it's nothing that we are, I guess, really confident enough to want to test, which is kind of sad to say that, but we will eventually cross that path and get that up on the channel. Now for standard, I will come back to premium here in a little bit. For standard, I have been addicted to the Kaikon deck. I think the Kai deck as a whole is one of the coolest decks in the course of the game. I love that you are able just to do so much with the Kai deck, and honestly, it feels a little bit crazy just to look at the advantage that the deck is able just to build up. And I really love that about the deck. I love that, you know, for a standard deck, it also the cross ride, or the cross, you know, reride to trigger persona is so cool. Also, Dragonic Overlord on rearguard being able to restand for, you know, attack, 5 attacks, does kind of make it, you know, kind of like the superior one. I mean, you're hitting the magic number of standard, which is 5 attacks, which is exactly what the deck kind of aims to want to do. So outside of that, I mean, I personally think right now, that deck is probably my favorite. We just updated Shiranui because we finally got all of our Dino Dragon Grade 2s, which is kind of nice. Speaking of, the Regalia deck and the Nebula order, Astral was onto something with that. That order being a discard stride fodder, and then you're able to, kick it out and go, find a extra body on your field for setup is kind of insane. We don't actually own any of that right now. I need to kick my butt into gear, and I need to go get at least one. So we have a single copy to at least play for the time being, because I've not been able to track down one that I liked. So we will... I say one we like, but I mean, it's just about like finding one at a cheap price that's not $110 at this stage, because like that's so freaking ridiculous that card has actually hit, those insanely crazy price points. But we will have to wait and see. Outside of that, I mean, Deep Lands is okay. Virgula is dead in a dumpster. What else of interest? We just put together set 14 Varga. That deck still feels incredibly good. It's very fast for what it wants to do. It turbo digs for its resources like crazy. Gojo helps that deck out like crazy. And I gotta give him some credit, man. I do personally think that having the, Kagero having Gojo be able to like be a filter, discard, call itself, draw a card, discard again, like that's a lot. That one card, in my opinion, like letting those cards into standard will be a defining point at some point. Like, and it's also dangerous that you didn't give them to every clan, I'm just saying. Giving them the Keter to make the toolbox deck even more toolboxy. I mean, it was to be expected, but it just, you're sitting here and you're like, maybe you should give some diversity to some of the other decks. Truly, outside of that, I think I'm set on the Kai deck. Keegan is struggling with the new version of Odium. And I guess that's to be fair, considering the fact that things have kind of changed. But if you're not really set in the ways of, knowing how the new stuff works when you're sitting down coming from a certified play style from one to another, I mean, I can understand frustration being like, yeah, this kind of feels a little bit worse than, the previous version that we were kind of working with. So that's an interesting take. Also, Trickstar and Virena, I'm very interested to see how that's going to get powered up with new stuff. Outside of that, I'll say the same thing I say every one of these videos. I'm sitting here waiting on Chronojet. Somewhere, somehow, someday, I will get Chronojet. And I will be able to see the craziness that Chronojet actually... It doesn't matter, as long as it has the Persona Ride icon, I am set with that card. I think that's the most exciting thing that I'm ready for this block. I do want to see how they're going to incorporate Astral Deity into, standard. I'm very curious to see how they're going to do these things. No matter what they're going to do, they're going to be watered down versions of V. V. I mean, we're nearing V power creep right now. Like, it is coming. It's a slow thing. And also, something to put in the back of your mind here as we wrap up this video. Start to think about the new mechanic that we might get as the next season of Vanguard comes along in the future. Because, who truly knows what's going to happen, but, we could get a new mechanic that could massively and fundamentally shake up the entire game as much as Energy did. And that's a topic of conversation that I don't think a lot of people are ready to have just yet. So, is the game dead? No, not at all. Standards evolving, sure, but we just need to be patient and continue to see where the changes are going. So please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here in day, guys. Thanks for watching today's video. Check out tradingcardmint.com down below in the description. Enter MCool40 on checkout. Save a little bit of money on your purchase. Check out mcoolgames.com if you're interested in getting some cool play mats and single trading cards as well. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss one of our videos. Thanks for watching.